Welcome to your region this week. I'm Andy Carroll Woolery. In this episode, the merger between Grand River Hospital and St. Mary's Hospital has been approved, and what that means for those seeking medical care. A Brantford hockey stick manufacturer talks about how U.S. tariffs are affecting his company, and Cambridge is about to host its first ever jazz festival. But first, here's a look at the headlines. In response to the newly imposed U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods, like many municipalities across the country, the city of Brantford has launched Buy Canadian, Shop Local campaign to encourage residents and businesses to support local products and services.
So during the pandemic, we did something similar in terms of a buy local campaign or mission. This time around with tariff and trade talks, it was a direction out of the mayor and his direction to prepare and do a working task force group on tariff and trade. One of the criteria or one of the directives was really to initiate a buy local, buy Canadian campaign. So we've done that. Mm-hmm. And I have to preface that with the fact that we're not saying don't buy from our U.S. Affiliates either, right? Like that's a main thing, but it's really to promote buying local in terms of our farmers market and anything else. And truth be told, I think the public's already done a very clean job of doing that themselves. There's lots of resources out there, and so with that, by Canadian campaign, we've also initiated on our microsite, so Advantage Brantford our economic development department has an Advantage Brantford site where we've prepared and created our own Buy Canadian webpage. So there's a lot of resources and links that are on there to support local and to support Canada.
The automotive sector is gearing up for big changes now that U.S. President Donald Trump has officially slapped a 25% tariff on all vehicle imports. Mike Farwell spoke with an associate professor of engineering from the University of Guelph on what this could mean. Here's an excerpt.
Do you anticipate that we will see job losses in the automotive sector in Canada if this continues?
Yeah, I'm not an economist, so I wouldn't be for sure. But higher prices and things like lack of parts or more increased cost parts, the prices usually go to the consumer. If the consumer is not buying in, if they're not kind of now absorbing this cost because they're saying, I wanted to buy a car, but now it's an increased price, I can't afford it anymore. You didn't need that assembly worker on the line to put together that vehicle now because now it's an unsold vehicle. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some job cuts and job losses. And then usually we only think of the ones on the assembly line. When we see videos on in the news, it's usually the person putting the tires in or the vehicle is almost complete. There are many, many steps way before that in the parts suppliers and then in the design stages that working in offices. So we usually kind of see the assembly line part, but then I hear there's sometimes 5 or 6 people for every person on the assembly line. So it's a huge infrastructure and a huge chain.
Students at Elizabeth Ziegler Public School in Waterloo won't return to the building this school year or the next, with the board planning to send students to alternate schools for the 2025-2026 school year. A slab of concrete fell from the school's facade at the end of February, prompting a shutdown of the school and a switch to at-home learning for its students. Earlier this week, students returned to in-person learning at different schools or portable classrooms located on Elizabeth Ziegler grounds. Rain, spring snow, and double-digit temperatures have the Grand River Conservation Authority issuing flood warnings for areas including Kitchener and Cambridge. The GRCA estimates around 40 to 80 millimeters of precipitation fell throughout the watershed Wednesday. It also notes the flood warnings that have been issued so far are set to stay in effect until Saturday at noon. The province is reporting 89 new measles cases over the last week, bringing the province's case count to 661 since an outbreak began in the fall. That's compared to just over 100 new cases last week and 120 the week before. Public Health Ontario says there are 52 hospitalizations, 10 more than last week, including 3 in intensive care. It also says measles cases still predominantly involve unvaccinated children in Ontario's Southwestern Public Health Unit, which accounts for almost 45% of the province's cases. Region of Waterloo Public Health is reporting a total of 14 confirmed cases of measles in Waterloo Region. More than 80,000 people are expected to visit Elmira this Saturday for the annual Maple Syrup Festival. It's the largest single-day maple syrup festival in the world. Coming up, elbows up. A Brantford manufacturer continues to create Canadian-made hockey sticks. Details ahead.
Hello, welcome to Lions TV Bingo. An announcement, we are now on Mondays. Yes, every Monday from now on, Lions TV Bingo is going to be here on Rogers, and we're off like a herd of turtles. Roll 29. 4 $500 prizes, one $3,500 prize, all the trivia you can imagine, and some of my bad jokes. We'll see you this Monday.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends. You'll be helping to shut out impaired driving.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Grand River Hospital and St. Mary's General Hospital have officially united as the Ministry of Health has approved the merger. It's now known as the Waterloo Regional Health Network, or REN.
We have this really exciting future, right? When we look at what's possible in the next decade, bringing a new hospital to this region, long overdue, one of the fastest growing regions in the country, if not the province. And to be able to bring that to reality in the next decade will be something that, is, as I said, is long overdue for this region and something that's exciting. What's even more exciting, though, is what we're going to be able to do as two organizations coming together from the standpoint of care. And that's why we're here in the first place, is to provide that high quality care with compassion every single day. And I think both organizations individually did that really well. And I'm excited about what we're going to be able to do together because we're just going to be able to take it to the next level. Mm-hmm. And that applies to our partnerships with the community. There's purpose behind the network part of REN, and that is that our campus of care, the way we're going to be thinking about that is the campus of care is the community. it's not just inside our walls, right? So the mindset, the way I like to think about it is, how do we deliver care at the point of need as opposed to everybody having to come to us?
Tim and I have been co-chairing the activities for the last, probably better part of 3 years as we've been doing things together as the hospitals. So to me, it just makes perfect sense that we continue in the role. It's showing the unification of both organizations, which have had, as you know, a very tremendous history in our community, and we look forward to working together to launch that new, our new Waterloo Regional Health Network, REN, and getting us moving forward in the community. So it's a great partnership, and I love the way we can continue it going.
And I think as we move forward, a degree of continuity is really important. We're at the foundational elements of REN, and but it's bringing in some of the perspective of the past. We're going to have new board members that are not familiar with either organization, either legacy organization. And so having some stability, some knowledge of what each organization's done. We've been working together in partnership. I think that's really important for our community, and we'll see how things progress in the next little while.
Over the last year, our leadership teams within the organization have already been coming together, and many of our patient care teams have also been working together. So that integration process has already started. At the board, we've got a few things to do in terms of putting our processes together as how we want to be working forward. And it also continues to allow the Capital Build project, which is the new site, to take off in earnest and continue to move. So I think it'll be both groups working still together, but we've got a lot of work to do on the governance side to get going. As Tim mentioned, we'll have a couple new board members joining us as well, and we will be looking to the community for individuals who'd like to join some of our committees. So that's the governance side of things, and then operations will focus on getting operations going and the capital build. Well, the last piece to me, and again, it's back to the name, when I think of network, and we're purposeful about that particular piece too, a hospital doesn't exist in isolation. It has to be part of a larger network or system within our community. So a lot of what we'll be considering and looking at is what's the interface with primary care, what's the interface with long-term care, and how do we make sure that individuals are getting the care that they need in the location that they need it. So network on purpose means there'll be many other organizations that we will be partnering with and collaborating with and working with. And I think that's important to know too.
Like, partnerships are going to be key. Like, it's a health system, and our organization is one element of that health system. And let's be honest, there's a lot of people that use our system and our network today that shouldn't be here. That there should be other avenues and opportunities and better care in our community. And so how do we work with those? How do we continue to work with those care partners to ensure that every individual in our community is getting the right degree of care when they need it at the appropriate spot? That's a complex, challenging problem, but I have no doubt in my mind that with our board and with the senior leadership team, that is top of mind, and we'll work with our partners and the government in Ontario to ensure that we can transform how we deliver care, not only in our community, but we can serve as an example to the rest of Ontario and hopefully Canada.
What I would want the community to know is, we will live up to our promise. And that promise of coming together was really about people, right? Improving the experience of those who need the care, improving the experience of their families when they come here as well, and also improving the experience of the people who deliver that care. And that's our promise. It's a big promise, and it's one we're going to live up to. And we're going to live up to it with our partners and with our community.
Hey, we're Chris and Cam. We are the hosts of What's Buzzin' right here on Rogers TV. We are that show that chats all things trending, interviewing local guests, and we embarrass ourselves a little bit too. That happens.
Yeah, honestly, we're that talk show you definitely want to check out. We're super fun. We have on local guests and things that you want to check out in the community. You can check out on What's Buzzin'.
Yeah, it starts here.
Starts
We're gonna have
here.
a lot of fun, and that happens on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. on Rogers TV.
This federal election will reshape Canada's political landscape and our country's approach to domestic and international issues. Get to know the candidates running to be your MP and represent your interests in Ottawa. Hear from your local candidates during Rogers TV's coverage of the local campaign. And on election night, Rogers TV delivers the local results. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
Hello, welcome to Lions TV Bingo. An announcement, we are now on Mondays. Yes, every Monday from now on, Lions TV Bingo is going to be here on Rogers. We'll see you this Monday.
Hey, what's up? We're Chris and Cam, host of What's Buzzin', right here on Rogers TV.
We talk about local trends, we interview local guests, and we overall just have a lot of fun.
8 p.m. Wednesday nights on Rogers TV.
Stay tuned.
Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't want to pick you up. Drinking drivers risk injuries to themselves and others and take chances with their license, their jobs, and their future. Remember what's at stake and choose your ride, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or the party host. Thanks for supporting sober driving. I hope we never meet.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more.
As tariff threats from the U.S. continue to create uncertainty here at home, the owner of a Brantford hockey stick manufacturer talks about how Canada's elbows-up approach strengthened his business.
This company was founded in 1847 in a little town not too far from here called Ayr, Ontario. So it started out making farm tools, and then it evolved and made whiskey barrels for the Seagram's company, and it made furniture, and it made all kinds of things with wood. It was about 125 years ago that they decided, let's make hockey sticks. It's been around for 178 years, and for the last 125 years we've been making hockey sticks, and this factory, which is now in Brantford, but before it was in Hespeler, has made over 100 million hockey sticks. So it's got a tremendous history. This company has got through 2 world wars, 2 pandemics, a stock market crash of the 1920s, and a dozen recessions. So this company has weathered it all. And so these tariffs that are now have been imposed on Canada will weather this storm as well. Well, it's been very confusing for our customers and the consumers down in the United States because they don't know what a tariff is. A lot of people in the United States think a tariff is paid by the Canadian government. It's just not. It's a tax that the consumers pay. And they're starting to learn about that because now they're calling it a tax rather than a tariff. And so what happens, our customers who are NHL teams in the United States and customers who want to buy 2 sticks or 5 sticks or 10 sticks, or NHL teams, like I said, who want to buy 5,000 sticks, or retailers who want to buy 10,000 sticks. They all have the same question over the last 2 months. How does the tariff impact what I'm ordering from you? And so a lot of our customers have either paused the order until they find out, or rushed the order so they can get their sticks before any tariff would go into effect. So it's been a very difficult time for a lot of people and a lot of businesses. But the Canadian government really has put out there that, the unifying message of Made in Canada. And I can tell you that our sales from January to March doubled in sales. Canadian sales have doubled. But what was really remarkable is that Canadian Tire Corporation, Greg Hicks is the CEO, and he came out with a True North strategy for Canadian Tire to look at local sourcing of product. Now, Canadian Tire has been buying hockey sticks from us for decades, but they reached out to me a week ago and said, we're going to increase our orders from you in 2025 by 30%.
Wow.
It was remarkable, but that's corporate leadership at work. So I think that what's happened is that we've all sort of realized that we're under attack, and we have to work together and support each other. And I am the prime example of Canadians coming together on an individual basis, on a government basis, but on a corporate basis, speaking of Canadian Tire and Greg Hicks. Well, back in the 1990s, what happened was that Nike bought Bauer, and I used to be the chairman of the board of Bauer, and I used to be the owner of Bauer from 2008 to 2012. But when Nike bought Bauer in 1995, I bought Bauer from Nike in 2008. But when they owned it, they shifted all manufacturing to Asia. So they shut down all the factories or sold them off or did whatever they did because they went for the cheaper labor, which is in Asia. So that sort of decimated, and Adidas did the same thing with CCM. I came along after I left Bauer and I decided that I wanted to buy up all these factories that had either been shut down or about to be shut down, and I put it into one company called Rooston Hockey. So yes, we're the only hockey stick commercial factory in Canada or the United States. There is one in Mexico that makes some composite, but a very, very small amount. But yes, we are the biggest, and we are the only one that survived. In January, when I saw that these tariffs might be coming quick, I launched a website called Stix.com. Of course, Stix.com. Well, what else would I name it? But it's spelled STIX.com. And that's for Canadians to be able to buy made in Canada hockey sticks directly from the manufacturer. And so anybody in Canada can go on to Stix.com and buy hockey sticks that we make here. Now, we have other hockey sticks on there as well that are made in different places, but the made in Canada sticks are clearly identified. And now somebody in Kelowna, BC, or in Calgary, or wherever, St. John's, wherever they are, they can go there and they can buy a made in Canada hockey stick, which supports Canadian owned and Canadian manufacturing employees. So this is the oldest hockey related company in the world. This was founded before the NHL. This was founded when there were, players playing on rivers and lakes. This company has been a fabric of Canadian society since before Canada was a country. So this business is a legacy business. And Canadians love hockey and they love supporting hockey. And so all I ask Canadians to do is continue to support made in Canada hockey sticks. And now they know how to do that.
I can't tell.
Still ahead and all that jazz. The first ever jazz festival comes to Cambridge.
For you.
Canada is at a crossroads, facing an affordability crisis, strains on healthcare, and climate change. Get to know the candidates running to be your MP and represent your interests in Ottawa. Hear from your local candidates during Rogers TV's coverage of the local campaign. And on election night, Rogers TV delivers the local results. Rogers TV. Watch, learn, vote.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
For me, the end was just the beginning. I felt I must come. If I did not come at once, it would be too late. And these places that are watered with the best blood of Canada might only be names and memories. I see it in the soldiers, the grief I know so intimately. And I will not abandon these men to it. The isolation wears on me. Slowly, the silence takes over, as if my heart has given out of air. I cannot talk. I can only paint.
For more than 2 years, Mary Ryder Hamilton painted the battlefields of the First World War, creating an unforgettable visual record of service and sacrifices at immense personal cost.
Finally for us, world-class jazz is coming to Cambridge's Gaslight District.
Formally, it is known as the Cambridge Jazz Festival. Our parent company is Galt Jazz. We started Galt Jazz coming out of the ashes of the pandemic in the spring of 2022, realizing that our little downtown was in need of a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a push. I'm not a musician. I've never done anything like this before, but I decided we can do something. So we started a monthly jazz series. We've done 34 consecutive monthly jazz shows, bringing arts and culture to our city. There's a bit of a void there, especially for jazz music, because this is not a traditional jazz market. The other thing is giving musicians a badly needed place to play. Since the pandemic and you know, in the last decade, places have been closing down and musicians need venues. So it allows us to serve that need as well. And then we realized that the popularity of our brand allowed us to do even more. So what we've done a couple of independent food bank fundraisers. And to date, we've raised over $10,000 for our food bank. So, you know, it's a multi-headed campaign to do a lot of good things for a lot of people. And it's just grown organically. So we've decided to try our hand at throwing a yearly festival and see where that goes. So our first iteration of that is on April 27th. It's called the Cambridge Jazz Festival. Well, we've got a website on which you can buy tickets, and the website is very easy to remember. It's cambridgejazzfestival.ca. It's down at Tapestry Hall, which is a tremendously interesting neighborhood, because not only does it encompass the Gaslight District, which has different restaurants, you're steps away from the Grand River, and there's a beautiful walk right up into our downtown, which features one of the prettiest little downtowns in Canada. Come out, support us. One final thing that I need everyone to understand is that a portion of our ticket sales goes to the Cambridge Food Bank. And we've been a strong supporter. As I said before, we've already raised $10,000 for the Cambridge Food Bank. We can do more.
And that's our show for this edition of Your Region This Week. Thanks for watching. I'm Anandi Carroll Woolery. We'll see you next time.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
We're in for something special. The best of the best. It's showtime, and away we go. We're going to drop the gloves right away. The rivalry heated up.
That was the greatest start to a hockey game ever.
It's murder in overtime. McDavid scores! Look at that. What a goal. Oh, Bennington game saver. Connor McDavid scores for Canada. Best on best, and still the best.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his